So in this video, we're going to go over my US typeset, like all the majority of the US coins that aren't, say, $30,000 to buy. So, well, let's go into basically every coin in this book. So, let's get on with it. Starting off with the top, the half cents, the draped bust, the classic head, and the cornet head. This one was definitely my favorite. Can't really see it in detail, so I'm just gonna... Definitely is corroded, as you can see, all around the coin. But there's like some really cool red and blue toning on the head, on the bust. Well, this is my second favorite. The draped bust. 1805, that's a pretty old coin. I don't think it has any errors or anything. It's a very chopped up, smooth half cent over 100. Let me think, I can't do math. 215 years old. Yeah, 215 years old. And the cornet head from 1855. It's a more rare coin. It has 30 or 50,000 made. Definitely one of my lower mints. In better condition. You can see the Liberty and details. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it, but there's this little ding up here that's really going to subtract from the value. Don't know, it was probably got hit with like a chisel. I don't know, but well, yeah. Now onto the four major large cents. We start off with the draped bust, the classic head, which I don't have, the cornet head, and the braided hair. So let's start off. This is from 1798. But the bust would have looked like that, but it's all corroded. That's a little more corroded than that guy. So let's sell $200 coin. Definitely one of my more expensive ones. So yeah. The classic head would exactly have looked like that, but it was too expensive. So Then the cornet head from 1818. For some reason, is my favorite year, but I don't know why. Yeah. So let's go on to the cornet head, which if you, the braided hair, you look at this, the difference is it's more full, and the rim with the stars are also smaller. Now on to the size of coin and pennies that we all know, the small cents. The small cents start off with the Flying Eagle, the Indian Head Wreath from 1859, the first year that I have just in my Indian Head penny book. But then we have an 1864 copper nickel, which is a thick rimmed coin. The Indian Head cent, the Lincoln VDB with some interesting history, and the wheat penny. So let's start off on the Flying Eagle cent. It was, the design I'm pretty sure was also on a very rare silver dollar before the penny. So yeah. This, as I said, is in my other book, but instead of, I'll show you. Instead of this, it would have had a wreath going completely around, and it would be no shield. So the oak wreath and the laurel wreath were the different things, but the copper nickel was during the Civil War, because they needed, I don't know actually what the history is on that guy. Let me focus. You can definitely see the difference in the material just by looking at it. And that's the only difference between these two is the material and how thick they are. But, well, you probably know what the Indian head cent is. The Indian on the odd verse of the penny and the wreath on the reverse. But this one is in extra fine condition with a lot of damage because all those marks and stuff. But you can see full Liberty in the headband. Yeah. So then, here, the 1909, the first year of the Lincoln penny, it would have VDB on the back under the wheat stalks because of the guy's engraver's initials. But for some reason, they were taken off and put under the shoulder later that year. So it was half 1909 VDB, and then half just no VDB. Now, the normal wheat cent, you can see the initials right there. Has a lot of the original luster from 1958, which was the last year of the Indian. No, not the Indian, the Lincoln wheat penny. So now here on the 1943 penny, it's a steel cent because in 1943 they were running low on copper, so they exchanged the penny that year for steel. That's the only noticeable difference. Besides, there was a handful of copper pennies that year, which ranged from anywhere in price value of $100,000 for the Philadelphia and $1.2 million, I'm pretty sure, for the Denver. I really can't talk today for some reason, but if I ever come in contact with that penny, that's gonna change a lot. Then we have the normal Memorial Cent from 1972, San Francisco. It has a lot of luster, which isn't uncommon for the copper cents of that time. So it doesn't really matter. So let's just switch down to the 2-cent piece, which is one of my favorite designs in a coin. It ran from 1864 to 1872. During the Civil War, and it's a really beautiful looking coin with the shield, the arrows, and I'm pretty sure that's olive branches with "In God We Trust." It's in really good condition. Besides, it's in good condition though, the lowest, because the "we" isn't up there, so I'm pretty sad about that. It's nonetheless a really cool looking coin. Now, the 3-cent piece, from this design to this design, was manufactured because the U.S. Postal Service changed the 5-cent stamp to the 3-cent stamp, and this would just be an easy compromise, instead of having to pay 3 giant pennies. So you'd pay this instead, a very small silver coin. Then you go here, the second copper nickel, nickel, would be from 1865 to 1869, which would have also overlapped with this design for some reason. I still don't know about that. But it's a cooler looking odd verse, but a worse looking reverse, the front and back. So, yeah. Let's look at the reverses. So let's start off with the reverses with the steel cent, Memorial Cent, 2-cent piece, first 3-cent, second 3-cent, then that's the reverse of the Flying Eel, no 1859, copper nickel, Indian head cent, just an Indian head cent, the wheat cent with the VDB you can see at the bottom of the penny, then the normal wheat cent, the reverse of the draped bust, I missed that level, Wait, where is it? Oh, it's up there. But this is the large cent 8 bust, draped bust. The other one, and the braided hair. Then there's the, come on, draped bust of the half cent, classic head, and braided hair. This is my favorite page, the half dimes, nickels, and dimes. So let's get started. We have the capped bust half dime from 1829 to 1837. The Liberty seated half dime, the first design, from 1837 to 1859 with a large date. No Liberty seated dime with arrows, half dime with arrows. And the last, the 1872 Liberty seated with the legend, which is United States of America. Then we got the first shield cent with rays on the back. Then the rays were removed in 1867, so it was a split year again. The 1867. Here's the normal one. The first year one, which actually has a good story behind it, which they changed it from no cents, would say E pluribus unum, because people were gold plating them and putting it off as the brand new $5 gold coin. Then you have the normal one, or the second one with cents on the back. Then you have Buffalo Variety 1, I don't have, but I have it just in a different book. Then you have the normal Buffalo nickel. The first year, which has no difference, Jefferson nickel. A Silver War nickel, which was like the steel penny, but it's silver, 45% silver and some other alloys. Then for the dimes, you have the capped bust dime from 1828 to 1837, Variety 2. Then an upside down Liberty seated dime. This is what I meant by arrows. See, next to the date, I'm going to try to zoom in, has arrows. I really don't know the history behind that, but it has arrows. And that's what I'm missing in the half dimes. Focus. Then we have the 1888, the technically third design of that, and last design from 1888 with amazing details. Then you go on to the Barber dime, which I'm pretty sure was the same engraver of the Indian head penny. This one, the last year, 1816. Then an amazing condition, 1945, last year, Mercury dime, from 1916 to 1945. Then this really nice toned 1964 silver, 90% silver Roosevelt dime. Then you have the normal clad dime. That's the draped bust half dime. The 1842 half dime, I'm pretty sure. The arrows, and the 1872. The shield nickel with rays, as you can see. Shield nickel with no rays. E pluribus unum V nickel. The normal V nickel. Oh, I'll show you first this example. Yeah, that would be the Variety 1 Buffalo nickel. I'll show you the difference. The ground would go into the 5 cents, so there would be no barrier there. But they changed that because the 5 cents was getting worn off way too easy. The normal nickel, the war nickel, the 1827 dime, the 1852 dime, the dime with arrows, the 1888 dime, the Barber dime, Mercury, Roosevelt, and Roosevelt. On to the next page. This is the second most empty page for a reason. Has the $4 half and 3 quarters missing, so, but no big deal. So let's start off. The 20-cent piece that only ran from 3 years. They're pretty rare. With this one is the most common and the easiest one to get my hands on. It's a San Francisco minted one. The cap bust quarter, Liberty seated, quarter no motto, Liberty seated with arrows. But then there's the last one, the quarter, with some weird toning on a very worn coin. And let's go down to the other quarters. The Barber quarter, Standing Liberty quarter, which Variety 1 is on the odd verse, the reverse, I mean, with the eagle has no stars under it. Then the Variety 2 with stars under it, eagle. The Silver Washington quarter, the Clad Washington quarter. Then capped bust, edge lettered. Then the reeded edge, of like with the lines on the edge. Then you have a seated Liberty, or as they say, Liberty seated, $50 from 1858. Don't have the one with arrows or the newer one, but I have a Barber quarter, a Barber $50. I mean. Then we have the back of the 20-cent piece with the S right under the eagle holding the olive things. Then you have the seated quarter reverse Barber quarter, and under the eagle for the seated Liberty, it has stars for the Variety 2 and no stars on the Variety 1. Then you have the Washington quarters, seated $50, and Barber $50 from Denver. I actually lied. This is the page that's the most unfilled page. This is the second most unfilled page. So let's start off with the Liberty Walking Liberty $50 with amazing details and some brown toning. The Franklin $50 with some gold toning around the edges. The First Year Kennedy I do not have. Then the 40% silver from 1965 to 1970 $50. Then we have some commemoratives. I'm only filling up with old ones. It's from 1893, and this one from 1952 with some gold toning around the edges. And these three are going to be the hardest ones to get because they're anywhere from like $450 to like $3,000, which is the Liberty seated no motto, Liberty seated motto, and trade silver dollar. Then you start off with the Morgan silver dollar, which is a very pretty coin. Then the Peace dollar and the Ugly Old Ike. Again with the reverses, the Morgan, the Peace dollar, and the Ugly Old Ike. Then you go down. Here's the 1893, if you can focus. The 1952. The Walking Liberty, the Franklin, and the Kennedy. It might not have been that good of a video, but I'm pretty tired, and I'll do an update later when the whole book is done. It's gonna be take me a long time, so if you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and I guess bye.